Friday, I was going to try and get this. In fact, I originally titled this Sunday night, Star Trek stuff, but as I kept over and over again trying to get in there, it's like, screw it. Now it's Monday morning. So I might want to do later on Monday afternoon. But for now, let's just get right to it here. A few things came up I should make an offer on or comment on here. Some of the historical stuff here. The Wrath of Khan has been added to the National Film Registry. See, just past the 40th anniversary of Star Trek II. 42 years since the film came out and captivated audiences everywhere, brought back an iconic Star Trek villain in Khan, and showcased one of the most impressive hero villains. It's kind of overplaying it, but again, Star Trek didn't have villains; you had adversaries. You hadn't, But whatever, it is what it is. But it has been picked, along with 24 other films, to be added to the National Film Registry for preservation. And ranges all the way from 1895's Annabelle Serpentine Dance all the way to 2010's Social Network. And no, you have to say 1890 was not a typo. In fact, here's the complete list. Let's see. Annabelle Serpentine Dance from 1895. Coco's Earth Control, 1928. I could check that. Angels with Dirty Faces, that was 1938. Pride of the Yankees, 42. Invaders from Mars, the original from 53. The Miracle Worker from 62. Chelsea Girls in 66. Ganja and Hess. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. Uptown Saturday Night, kind of a blaxploitation film in 74. Zora Lathan Student Films. Okay. Up in Smoke, Cheech and Chong have made the National Film Registry. And then I'm not sure about that. And then Star Trek 2, Beverly Hills Cop, Dirty Dancing, Common Thread, Stories from the Quilt. Think an idea about the AIDS quilt. Powwow Highway, My Own Private Idaho, American Me, that's a rough one. Mi Familia, Compensation, Spy Kids, okay. No Country for Old Men, and The Social Network. So, hey, Daniel, they got quite an eclectic list there. And let's see. It makes it the first film, but it's it may not be the only one to go in, depending on the criteria. Both Star Trek Motion Picture and Star Trek Generations have a shot due to their impact on the medium and the overall popularity. I think you'll see Star Trek Motion Picture in there first. Not so sure about Generations. And First Contact, and again, I would not rate, don't do JJ Trick, please. It's an overblown popcorn movie. Both films that held high regard by fandom, not this fan. Not one for JJ Trick, that's for damn sure. I consider First Contact one of the better ones, but yeah. Sometimes Chad does get a little rah-rah for my taste, but there we have it. So that's in. Let's move on here. So again, congratulations to Nick Meyer and all involved with Star Trek 2. But let's take on this one, because again, we're going with how to do, it's like Star Trek has officially destroyed the Kelvin timeline, but what does this mean? This means it's a mistake to consider the comic books canon. This is why you don't do it. Because the comics have to come out every month. Or at least on a regular schedule, a film, it's like, how many years has it been? Even when they were hitting them on a regular basis, it was still like 2 or 3 years between films. Comics have to hit every month. I remember when DC had the Star Trek license. The time in between Star Trek 3 and Star Trek 4 was rather interminable. In the comics, during that time, they were given command of the Excelsior. They were given the Excelsior. So here comes Star Trek 4, and it's like now they got to try and line up a bit because, of course, they got to do an adaptation of Star Trek 4, but you can't do it if the crew is on the Excelsior. So they got to do all kinds of convoluted shit to get them off there and make them become renegades. So you can fit in the adaptation of Star Trek 3 and off we go. It was a mess. That's why you don't do that. Okay. You don't, the comics, no. So yeah, Kelvin is over. At least that's what IDW Star Trek comic series issue number 25 claimed to happen. Using a Bajoran artifact, Data's evil twin brother Lore. Again, Lore should still be separated into a bunch of parts somewhere in Daystrom Institute. And they destroy the Kelvin timeline, killing Chris Pines, James Kirk, and the rest of the Kelvin timeline characters. Now, this usually isn't healthy. Never news for Star Trek fans. After all, Star Trek comics have long been uncanon, so they can do whatever they want without fear of reprisal from the studios. Exactly why it gets done. So they're not hamstrung by this. This comic series is, in fact, canon, meaning that everything that happens in this book is recognized in Star Trek plot history. Yeah, we'll see how well that goes. It's as part of the main canon of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Yeah, a bit of an issue in making bold decisions. Let's see. Trying to get these ads out of the way because they're getting weird on me. How these things go. Comics like Star Trek don't make universe-sweeping decisions that affect real-world profit margins. Much like a Star Trek episode in the original series, eventually everything will go back as it was. I don't know the reestablished timeline or what consequences the character may face, but I do know that you can't erase something so important to the profit line of the franchise. Whoops. Get out of that. This is nothing but a plot point that'll result. Yeah. Again, we don't know. I think that, maybe the writers of the comic book are getting a little frustrated and saying, okay, fine, we're going to kill you off. Or they've gotten word from the students that we're not doing another one of these, so go ahead and kill them. Who knows? I just think it's like, in order to rethink this whole thing about the comics are canon, since when? And we're going to find out why they weren't. So this was another Porto one. Yeah, it was Chad again. So this last one though. This is from a writer I'm not sure I've seen before, but from Brian T. Sullivan. Lower Decks, since the series finale doesn't feel like final, and that's a good thing. Let's see, let's get right here. Their endings are tricky. Part of a satisfying ending comes from having an adequate setup. Part of it comes from feeling like a culmination of all that has gone before. A lot of it comes from a feeling like the characters have been well served. The worst kind of ending, in my opinion, are those where the characters' journeys are lost amid a plot. Fortunately, Star Trek Lower Decks has received a fair ending, even if it was sooner than it deserved. Things have changed by the end of the episode, but there's a sense of optimism, fitting for any Star Trek series, and hope that the doors open for more adventures to come. Yeah, damn straight they were. McMahon is trying to figure some way to keep this thing going. Let's see, episode. Continuing directly from last week's episode. Well, yeah, it was the first part of the story. The new Next Generation shows us a fleet of Klingon ships led by Captain Relga be the first to encounter the new massive dimensional rift sent to the primed universe by William Boimler. One ship is destroyed after it and its crew briefly transform into Discovery-style Klingons, and the rest is intrigue. Some people are trying to claim that means it's prime. No, because one of the things about those rifts is alternate timelines. You guys forgetting how Bill Boimler was sick to the back teeth about alternate timelines? Only thing established is, yes, Star Trek Discovery is in the mix somewhere. It doesn't make it to prime timeline, though. Sorry, Sean Ferrick. It doesn't. No, it confirms it was part of the mix, but it's just as much an alternate timeline as the Mirror Universe and the Kelvin timeline and anything else here. So. And the fact that it was blown up immediately, I think, is a nice little commentary on the need for keeping them around. Meanwhile, Brad Boimler receives a message from his transporter explaining the situation with the dimensional rift. Oh my God, we're And yeah, it's a big thing that Freeman's, okay, I trust you. You're my best officer. Like, oh, great. We can move on. And it's also, Boimler gets the Schrodinger field. It's like, it's everything and nothing. It's like, we don't know what's happening here. That's these idiotic. As the Cerritos prepares to go into the rift, they encounter Maha and Malor. Two Klingon brothers are being pursued by Relga, who wants to blame them for the destruction of her ship. Two come burritos and this ship, we know this. So, get on the end here. Ransom's promoted to captain of Cerritos. Yeah, I think he's earned it. Mariner and Boimler are both designated provisional first officers. Like, no, it's not protocol, but it's Ransom's ship. Technically, he can pretty much do what he wants, And Rutherford turned up. He didn't need the implant. It's like, no, he's not missing an eye. He just lose it. Getting in the way now. And it's like, but also it's no longer the safeguards, keeping the emotions in check, and the dopamine hit. So now it's like he really is, all the emotions he feels for Tendi are not as easy to keep tamped down. And it's like, it's like there's more to tell here. And I think the message from McMahon and the rest of us is like, be patient. We'll figure out a way to tell you. Don't give up on us yet, kids. It's what Star Trek does best. It's like, when we get cut off on the knees early, we figure out a way to keep going. That's what the original series did. They managed to keep it going with the movies, and God damn it, we're going to keep it on with this one. So, thoughts on the episode? This was a very good episode, in my opinion. While it did not really feel like a series finale up until the last few seconds, it remained focused on the lower deckers as they helped to literally save the universe. This allowed it to exemplify Star Trek Lower Decks at its best, a fun, lighthearted version of Star Trek with just a touch of cartoon zaniness. Really, the only problem I have with this episode is that it is the last episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. It doesn't fizzle out like Turnabout Intruder did for the original Star Trek. And tell you what, even Turnabout Intruder wasn't supposed to be the last episode. But things have fallen apart. And the network cut their option on the last two episodes. And that can hit Shatner, because Shatner was supposed to direct the last episode of the third season. But they dropped their option for it, so they never got to make it. So Turnabout Intruder was the last one made, and that's when they got. But it's really the only problem I have is but it also seems clear that it was not always meant to be the ending. Given production times for animated animation, though, it's unclear when exactly the shift from season finale to the series finale took place. They knew for this has been in the works for a while. They knew they were told no to be the last season. Really? What I am most grateful for, however, is that the series ends with an open door. There are always possibilities, Spock says, and with all of the characters moving up to more senior positions, perhaps the end of Lower Decks is an opportunity for characters to transition to Upper Deckers in the future. I will really miss Star Trek Lower Decks, and I hope it can come back in another form. If it does, I hope it could keep its focus on its characters, which are this show's greatest strength. But if this is truly the end of the series, I am glad that we have 50 episodes of fun stories, great characters, and sometimes clever Star Trek references. And also, actual character development. Something the modern series had been sorely lacking in. Michael Burnham didn't learn a goddamn thing. She was rewarded for her incompetence and her insubordination. She started a war with the Klingons, but got let back in, and she rewarded her with being, able to tell off admirals, and she was rewarded with becoming a captain. Wrong. That is why this character is a Mary Sue. She's the one who's magically right and does everything right, and she's the one leading the mission. She's going to do everything right. She was the test pilot for that. She developed this thing over there. That is why Michael Burnham is considered the most hated character in the history of Star Trek. because it is so this character should not be anywhere near a starship, let alone be put in command of one. She should have been put under the stockade. It would have been understandable if they just handed her over to the Klingons. Here, have her for dinner. That would have been the peace offering right there. We'll end the war. Just here. Barbecue her, please. Send us video to make sure that she really is dead. We can't do it ourselves. We have laws against this sort of thing, but you go for it. Yeah. And that's also why I say, Michael Burnham, Michael Burnham's the president. Beckett Mariner, not a Mary Sue. We see her fucking up all the time and suffer the consequences for it. To the point where she likes going to the brig. She is so PTSD, keep her away from any kind of authority. No, I want no. She deliberately gets herself, demoted to get away from that, so that she's not put in a position of putting her friends in danger. That's one thing. You got to stick with us and follow through, where you finally get the revelation of why she is this way. Because she is the poster child for PTSD. And there's a heartbreaking thing. Oh my God, this is why you're such a dick. And it's like when your best friend and the one you're looking up to, as your kind of hero, the Academy Ceto, gets killed, and then the Dominion War is like right on its heels, and you don't have time to deal with it. You're thrown right into the meat grinder, and watching other friends, get slaughtered. It's like, but she still believes in Starfleet, so that she can't quit Starfleet. But there's no way in hell she wants to be put in command of anything. So that's why all her friends and other friends in the Academy figured she'd be a captain by now. Why are you doing this? Why are you an ensign? It's kind of begs, how old is she? Which is why, for the one episode where the Klingon ambassador kept getting loose, like there was originally when it aired, and Mariner's, back in the day. What back in the day? We're the same age. No, you're not, actually. She's and actually that was probably a mistake to begin with, because she already said she's been on 6 starships by this point. She had been promoted and demoted over and over and over again. So, like, sorry, boys, she's a good deal older than you. But that's why I keep pushing Rob Burnett. No, this is good Star Trek, really. Give it a chance. Stop writing it off as just some stupid workplace comedy in Star Trek setting. There's some good stuff here, But there's one I'm going to have to do a video, especially once I get the proper editing thing back up in line. Oh, okay. Let's diagram this out here. First, I need to do a season wrap up, and then start. Let's look at the whole series. Look at where Mariner and Boimler and all them started, and see where they wound up. You tell me there isn't any character development going on here. There is a huge amounts. Everyone's got, even T'Lyn, who barely showed up, has got a character arc there. And Captain Freeman, she was ready to chuck Mariner out an airlock the first opportunity. She sent Boimler down on the away mission to spy on her, to make you were any violation, you let me know. You want to court martial as soon as you can. Nope, I don't see anything. And a few seasons in, I think, okay, I think making effect later in that season. Okay, slack time is not a bad thing. Okay. The only one who thrived during that thing was Boimler. He loves the work, but everyone else is ready to fall apart and then almost blew up the ship. But everyone, I think I don't know, even Deanna got a few moments there to lighten up here. So there's a lot of really good writing and character development going on, even with the minor characters. Stuff you barely saw, even they had a bit of an arc if you follow through. So that this, and again, they were not finished. They got more story to go. They could keep this thing going for who knows how. Look at animation too. As long as the people sound the same, you can go on for how long. So it's Partially, it's going to be biding their time until Kurtzman is no longer there to block it. Because, yeah, the reports are, it's like, no, the ratings were good. And the audience response was very strong. People, loved this show. They wanted to do more. The people making it wanted to do more. Paramount wanted more. Kurtzman's the one who said no. They got their 5 seasons. No, they're out. Because their stuff is more popular than his stuff. Nobody wants Academy. Nobody really wanted Section 31. And they clearly didn't particularly care for Discovery that much, or Paramount wouldn't have pulled the plug on it at the 5th season, because the only way they had to wait that long is contractual obligations. They got locked in that thing from the get-go. You're guaranteed 5 seasons. And it's like penalties for cutting it off early or such. It's like, it's cheaper. Just let it keep going. So when they finally got, 5th season, nobody gone. Shocked the hell out of people making it. They thought they were doing great. Nope, you weren't. You're the reason why the studio is being sold. Because you pissed away so much money and was not bringing it back in. Just go back and look up the ratings for when they ran first season Discovery on CBS itself. Test patterns were getting better ratings. I'm talking about the horrible ratings the original series was getting. Turnabout Intruder got like an 8 share. Discovery, I don't think ever got above 2. It was embarrassing. It was only there to fill a time slot. It was that or reruns of Gunsmoke. Okay? That's the sort of thing. And they'd have been better off running reruns of Gunsmoke. People actually liked that show. But but CBS is doing. They did something. They would run slightly censored episodes of Dexter, to kind of promote it on for the Showtime thing. I mean, I think it was also probably calling, Chris, but if you ran on the regular network, we do great. Oh, really? Let's take a look at. Let's try that out. We got a slot. We got to fill up with something. Let's run that. And it's like, yeah, you're really lighting them on fire, aren't you, there, Alex? So I think they probably think, yeah, once this contract's up on this thing, it's done. We're bleeding money. I mean, they got sued by Netflix on the thing. Why do you think they dropped it? Nobody was watching. That was like they could directly see how many people are watching a given episode at any moment. Now they logged in on a stream. When it comes up, are you still watching? They generally didn't have to do that because nobody was watching to begin with on Discovery. The other shows, yeah, they were going great. But again, there's a few things like Kurtzman is being a petulant little shit. He won't let Legacy happen. The studio wants it. The people, the producers want it, do it, and the cast certainly want to do it. But Kurtzman won't let it happen because the fans want it. They liked it. They liked Metalis' take on it far more than they did the first 2 seasons. First 2 seasons are the worst pieces of television ever committed to film. Season 3, though, that's like, okay, this is Star Trek. We finally get Jean-Luc Picard again, and not Patrick Stewart playing out his little, passion play of, oh, it was me, my childhood is horrible. Jean-Luc Picard was not a horrible childhood. His father was very disappointed in that he wanted to go off and join Starfleet instead of sticking around and help around the vineyard. But he also was not the older brother. Robert was the older brother, and he's the one who the obligation to stick around. That kind of gave Jean-Luc the opportunity. He's like, hey, well, I don't need to do this. I want to go see this, see the universe. But there was never indication of being any kind of abusive relationship. And again, I think it's where no one has gone before. We see Picard's mother, a very old lady with a little tea set. And they tried to, I always used to imagine her. Bullshit. That's you guys being called out on the fact that, no, we saw Picard's mother and she was quite elderly. And that's also a thing we're playing up because Patrick Stewart's mother did not commit suicide. She was alive and well up until the 1990s. She was around when Patrick got the Star Trek gig. So it was Patrick Stewart trying to write out his own little psychodrama on the neck of what was like, we don't care about your situation. Save that for, who do you think you are episodes. Talking about why was my father so abusive, and they found out why. It's a very, very riveting story. But it's not Jean-Luc Picard. But yeah, it's like Kurtzman said, they can't make him make Prodigy, and if they do figure a way to do him, he'll sabotage it. He'll make a point. He'll put his imprimatur and screw it up. So it's like, okay, another one. We're going to wait. This contract is up next year, actually, and new buyers coming in. David Ellison, the Skydance, has had experience working with Kurtzman, and it wasn't a pleasant one. They were part of the production deal for the JJ Trek films, which Kurtzman was a part of. And no, Kurtzman doesn't play well with others. So yeah, I think my inclination is they will let the contract expire. They'll run out whatever is going on. So if Academy has commenced production by then, and the thing is they will probably rush it into production because at that point, because part of the deal apparently is that once something has begun production, they got to kind of follow through. But if they can get this ownership deal swapped over before production begins on it, then it's like, no, we will find something else to do with these expensive sets you built and other stuff. But your Academy show is over. Go away. Get your ass off our lot. Everything, And they will bring back, Terry Mattel as soon as he can. Okay, about the Star Trek Legacy thing now. You got a free reign now. Well, and Mike McMahon has his own production deal with CBS, separate. So like okay, how'd you like to continue this Lower Decks thing? We'll probably have to call it something else, or we got to pay Alex some money to buy the characters off him. But otherwise, we want more of this. And I think more, and same with the Prodigy. They will work out deals with this, and they will bring it back under the Paramount umbrella, and no more of this side production thing. I'm not sure what's going on there, but so it's going to be an interesting year or so coming up here. So it's just waiting out Alex Kurtzman and his contract to finally expire. And our long fandom nightmare will finally be over. So, on that, I think we'll go and wrap it there, but we'll talk.